Hey everyone, it is me, Jeff C., and it is Wednesday, November the 13th. And, there's always the bigger picture that we have to think about when we're covering events, if we're all kind of getting focused on things. The other day when I was doing a podcast on what the fuck are they talking about, they were asking me about the bigger picture, and I started to get into the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And lo and behold, today, Wikileaks has released one of the crucial chapters of this massive trade deal that will change everything as we know. And starting with our beloved internet. And it's one of the things that has really affected me as of late. Starting with copyright violations for doing things that are completely within fair use, according to the FBI sort of statement, right? Getting copyrights and then automatically, no debate, no nothing, you are prevented from putting any videos up more than 15 minutes. Since my Google account is suspended, the account that I never created, the Google Plus account, right? You know what I'm talking about. Because it violated our names policy, right? So the account that I never made violated their policy. They have prevented me from putting any fucking comments up on YouTube, and I can't even, to this fucking day, comment. And I have tried to challenge that violation several times, and this is just a precursor of what's to come, unfortunately. In fact, the world as we know it will get a lot darker very soon if this Trans-Pacific Partnership deal is allowed to happen. Now, I released a pretty urgent video back in June. Alert, stop the TPP. The Trans-Pacific Partnership, I believe I wrote, is a threat to humanity. And I really meant it. I mean, it was a scary motherfucking thing. When you look into it and you see what it's all about, it is an extremely scary future for mankind if this goes through. And this isn't the only deal that is being worked on, but just to put it in perspective, this is the world's biggest deal that has ever been worked out in terms of some sort of partnership, a global partnership. So what we're essentially talking about is NAFTA on steroids to the 100th degree. All right? The TPP is the largest ever economic treaty encompassing nations representing more than 40% of the world's GDP. The Wikileaks of the text comes ahead of the decisive TPP Chief Negotiators Summit in Salt Lake City in Utah on the 19th to the 24th of November 2013. Do you hear that, Utah? All right, and if you're close to Utah, get out and protest this thing. Get people awake, because this is really, really bad news. The chapter published by Wikileaks is perhaps the most controversial chapter of the TPP due to its wide-ranging effects on medicine, publishers, internet services, civil liberties, and biological patents. Significantly, the released text includes the negotiations position and disagreements between 12 prospective state members. The TPP is the forerunner to the equally secret US-EU pact, the TTIP, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, for which President Obama initiated US-EU negotiations in January 2013. So together these two are going to cover more than 60% of the world's GDP. And we're talking about everything that we know of changing dramatically. Now, let's get this straight. I'm going here to InfoWars, the lovely Leanne McAdoo, but we're going to listen to Congressman Alan Grayson. Now, Grayson was the one who had access, who was granted after months and months of badgering and finally legalities was able to view the document, but he wasn't able to record anything. They gave him 3 hours in a room, and restricted. He couldn't even take notes, and he wasn't allowed to talk about it. Well, now he's come out and he said a few things, and I really want you to listen clearly.
The result will be soon evident to everybody. When the agreement does get released, you'll see massive giveaways of our sovereignty, massive efforts to undermine the middle class in this country, massive efforts to keep us from making the decisions that we need to do to make ourselves safe, to keep ourselves healthy, and to actually have the kind of life we want to have. Why? Because we've given the entire process over to special interests. It's no longer even properly called a trade agreement. It's an anti-sovereignty agreement. It has very little, if anything, to do with trade at this point. And the fact that something like this can be negotiated in secret for over 3 years is an indication of how far our standards have fallen. I can't remember any time earlier in our history when we would have done this. I can't remember any time earlier in our history when we'd even make an effort to say that we couldn't have amendments on the floor of the House or the Senate about something that's so crucial to the way that we conduct our lives in the future.
So what's so bad about the Trans-Pacific Partnership that it's being labeled as NAFTA on steroids? Well, the chapters that have been leaked reveal plans that would threaten public health, the environment. Are you an internet user? Of course you are. Well, forget about CISPA, SOPA, and PIPA. The TPP rolls all those regulations up into one global agreement that totally circumvents domestic laws. File downloads could be criminalized, and your internet service provider would become a copyright enforcer, meaning your ISP address could monitor and police your every move using a 3-strike system. After those 3 strikes, your access to the internet could be cut off, including your own personal website, which could be deleted. And the TPP's rules on copyright infringement directly affect anyone who shares information via the web. Fair use exceptions could be severely restricted, effectively crippling any sharing of news and videos via YouTube and other platforms. Pharmaceutical companies can institute longer patents that would preserve their monopolies and reduce access to affordable medications. The TPP includes foreign investor protections, which could help corporations offshore jobs. Negotiations include financial deregulation and loss of oversight that could lead to even worse financial meltdowns than what we've experienced. And perhaps the most crippling in countries, foreign corporations could pummel nations financially if that nation considers a domestic law that will curb expected future profits. For instance, if a country refuses to grow GMO crops, rather than respecting that nation's sovereignty, biotech giants can sue the country for cutting into their profits, and then international tribunals could impose economic sanctions on that country until their ban on GMOs is lifted. This is a huge concern for citizens all over the world, so why aren't these contracts being made available for public review? Well, a group hopes to do a little crowdsourcing and expose this contract.
Well, okay, that's where we're caught up to now. Yes, this horrendous trade pact is available, at least this section of it, which is absolutely massive. I don't know how many pages, but you can see all the sections here. It just goes on. And this deals a lot with intellectual property, the rights of the internet. The 3-strike thing, could you just imagine? You can just imagine how now they're able to shut down people like me for making fair use criticisms of mainstream media videos, which is something I do all the time. This is all part of trying to get information out there. This is how the news is truly delivered if people are doing the news. And they're going to stop people from being able to do it. They're going to shut down whoever they want. They can use whatever excuse they want. They'll be able to go into your computers and find stuff that you have maybe obtained illegally according to their fucking definitions and shut you down, prevent you from having internet access. Of course, it talked about the medical, the potential hazards to having access to affordable drugs, all kinds of things. It's just utterly Orwellian. This is the real big picture. This is what we should all be focusing on right now. This is absolutely enormous. It will affect everything. We've seen how globalization works We're seeing that we have no manufacturing left in our countries here in the West, at least not in Canada and not in the United States. It is now our manufacturing is so small. We're all becoming service employees. We're all becoming indebted to the banks. We're all becoming slaves to this money-sucking pyramid scheme that is running the West out of the Federal Reserve and the Bank of England. We're all partners. We can't get ourselves out of this. And I mean, the only way to stop it is to protest this heavily and to force Congress to refuse it. And the same in other countries. You have to stand up and stop this thing, as it will undoubtedly change the world as we know it. Here off Global Research. Since the beginning of the TPP negotiations, the process of drafting and negotiating the treaty chapters has been shrouded in an unprecedented level of secrecy. Access to the drafts TPP chapters is shielded from general public. Members of the Congress are only able to view selected portions of the treaty-related documents in highly restrictive conditions and under strict supervision. It has been previously revealed that only 3 individuals in each of the TPP nation have access to the full text and agreement, while 600 trade advisors, lobbyists guarding the interest of large U.S. corporations such as Chevron, Halliburton, the wonderful Monsanto, and Walmart are granted privileged access to crucial sections of the treaty text. So they don't even see it all themselves. That's what's so crazy about it, because every one of them will see their particular thing that they're particularly interested in, and they'll have their lawyers examining these things, making sure that it's a win-win for them. But they don't even care about the rest of the thing, because if it doesn't affect them, it's not important at all. So you have all these massive corporations putting their special interests, their own desire to take control, to grow their corporations, to take control of governments, to take control of the people, and to be able to shut down, go after, sue, go after anyone in the world. You know, your copyright laws will not protect you if you're in Canada. They will not protect you if you're in the United States. It just won't happen. You could be sued by corporations from other countries on the other side of the world. They could come after you. And there's just so much with this deal that is just outright fucking frightening. So I want to watch my time here. I'm going to stop it now. I'm going to definitely do another follow-up video to this TPP, breaking it down. And I urge you all to watch my earlier video if you are just getting into the TPP now. There are other videos that are out there that are great. I think InfoWars did a great job on this one. And man, I'd like to hear your thoughts below. All the best.